Now this one is actually about a couple of teenage girls who scheme to get out of work and spend a day at the beach.
Correct.
That sounds like something I still do in my 30s, actually. So I guess a lot hasn't changed, and certainly something that a lot of people, if not everybody, will be able to relate to.
Exactly. And in life, it doesn't usually go as planned.
I was getting to that, so I'm glad you let me into that. It's awesome. So I have to ask where the inspiration for the story comes from, though. Is there something specific?
Yeah, the writer-director, her name's Augustine Frizzell.
Okay.
And it is actually based on her own youth, growing up in Garland, Texas.
Okay.
And so she is the granddaughter of Lefty Frizzell, a kind of well-known country singer.
Right.
And so she has what I like to call an untraditional upbringing or childhood. And so she incorporated that into the film, and she was just wanting to show what it's like being a teenage girl in these circumstances in which she was living on her own, having to work to live,
Right.
She's just living with friends, there's no parental supervision, but yet still keep it lighthearted. It's basically a comedy, and the thing is that you often see films in which it's teenage boys that are getting into trouble or partying and doing stuff, but you don't really see females that are doing that in films unless it's really heavy and dramatic, and she wanted to keep it lighthearted in it.
That's a great approach. Now,
Yeah.
I'm wondering, how are you guys?
That's really the most interesting thing,
Okay.
is that we play the two girls. There's a lot of makeup involved, a lot of special effects.
And not only the girls, the teenage, yeah.
Right, teenage girls,
Teenage
which
girls.
is important.
They dyed our
I
gray
shaved,
hair.
I think.
They
Okay.
dyed our gray hair and shaved.
We are the source of the setback. We
Okay.
are the cops who arrive at the house.
Bad news.
Can't remember exactly why we showed up, but it was something nefarious. And
They called you.
oh, that's right. Oh yeah, that was dumb of them.
That was, yeah, exactly. Another
It's not really a
teenage move.
Mensa meeting going on in this house to begin with. So yeah, we're the big downers.
Now, sort of food for thought here. As somebody who kind of behaved himself when I was a teenager, what I discovered is that if you don't get that out of your system at that age, you're going to get out of your system later, and at that point, there's going to be even bigger consequences.
Right.
So,
Like being tried as an adult.
absolutely. Now, I'm curious about this whole beach thing, though, because what was the setting? Where was this actually filmed at?
In Los Angeles.
Okay, Los
so
Angeles,
Augustine,
okay.
Has moved to Los Angeles.
Okay.
And I think she's kind of maybe coming back here. They might be going back and forth. So then it was easy to be able to film the
Right.
beach scene and a couple other things out in Los Angeles.
So they actually make it to the beach.
They did. Oh well.
You don't want to give too much away. I get that.
Maybe
I understand
not.
that.
Maybe.
Maybe they don't.
Not. Maybe they do in fantasy.
And then the rest was shot in Garland and Irving, Texas.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I've spent a lot of time in Garland because I actually grew up a little bit in Mesquite myself.
Yeah.
The closest thing we would have to a beach is if we actually drove out to Burgers Lake, which isn't really a beach because it's a man-made lake. So.
Well, were you familiar with a guy whose nickname was Officer Puddinface on the Garland Police Force?
Yes,
That was me.
yes. All right.
That's my character.
All right.
That's your character. Well, and it is interesting that how, Augustine was trying to make this film just be fun and not have a message, but that maybe if you take a step back and you look at what she's accomplished in her life,
Sure.
That it could be kind of inspirational to other
Definitely.
teens in those types of circumstances.
I mean, if you apply the Marxian dialectic to it, then of course it's about the duality of mankind and an essay on the Thermidorian reaction to the French Revolution. But it's also about two chicks who just like to get messed up and go to the beach.
Now, was there sort of a parental view that you took as being the cops in this, in terms of that role? I mean, is there sort of a correlation there when you're dealing with children and police?
I played the straight guy, so I came in and I was a straight guy, and I was not a badass, but I was nice at the same time.
Professional.
So, professional, just doing my job.
Because I don't think the story got to that level of like the next phase of like, okay, so where are your parents or what is your circumstances? The two guys that live with them, I think, are a little older, and so and one are a brother and sister, and so I think it was a deal where they find drugs and they're just dealing with the situation at that. I don't think it got to that next level.
Maybe it was a follow-up someday. Who knows?
Well, we're working on the feature.
Awesome. That sounds
the shooting
excellent.
this summer.
All right, that's good to
Yeah.
know. All right, we'll look forward to that for
Thank
sure.
you.
Now, before we end this thing, we have one quick question. Now, you've actually already answered
I've
this
already
question at the
answered it,
round
so
table.
I don't have
So
to,
it'll be
right?
for these two guys right now. If you could be involved in Star Wars or Star Trek, which would it be?
Oh, Star Wars all the way.
Okay.
But wasn't there a second part to that question?
Star
Maybe not.
Wars.
I'm a fan of both, but I memorized all the Star Wars movies as
Oh,
a child.
okay.
I had copies of the screenplay. I had, that Star Wars by a mile.
All right.
Yeah, and I played a lot of sports growing up, and Luke Skywalker was Red Leader 5, so I was number 5 from then on.
There you go.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay.
I did the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs, so there's that.
You
Okay.
got it right. I'm at 13.
Yeah, that's right.
By the way, I said Star
Good,
Wars
that's a good
before.
pickup line.
It is.
Yeah, all right.
Strangely, it doesn't work nearly as often as you think it will.